Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited today. I'm going to do another weekly what sold video. So basically these are my sales from from Monday through Sunday. So I'm trying to do this every week for you so you can kind of get some ideas of the things that might have sold and the prices that they might have sold for. Okay, this first one, we will start with eBay and then we'll do Poshmark. And I had no sales on Mercari. I'm not actually listing on Mercari anymore. I am simply just letting some stuff ride over there. Probably going to close that down soon. Doesn't seem to be worth my time. And I normally have one or two a week on Depop. I had two last week. I did not have any on Depop. I did have plenty of offers. I even had plenty of offers that I accepted, but they didn't pay, and that's just something you have to get used to with Depop. So, okay, let's talk about this first item. This I showed in a haul video not too long ago about these skater pants jeans. I have these three Empire jeans, and then I had three South Pole jeans, and I asked, should I lot them or should I sell them separately, and I got a mixed feedback. I did decide to lot them. The South Pole are still for sale, but this lot of three vintage Empire Carpenter jeans, men's 32 baggy streetwear Y2K skater pants sold in a bundle for $55 on eBay. So I think that's pretty great. This next one was new with tag, vintage, old stock, LL Bean flannel shirt, traditional fit, medium, Gorp Core Y2K. And it sold within just a few days, and it sold for $32.20. That was a really good sale, and I was actually kind of surprised by that. Yeah. So these J. Crew new with tags beaded earrings, hypoallergenic Cheers wine bottle. These were on a free table. Our buy nothing groups around here once in a while will tag on to yard sales and just have free stuff sitting around, and I grabbed these for free. I thought they were so cute. I wouldn't wear them, so I decided to sell them, and they sold for $14 on eBay. Okay, this next one, vintage Elise, and I put Elise because when I did my research on this, it was coming up both ways, and if you can, let me see if I can show you the tag. The tag is really hard to decipher. So there's the tag. It says Elise. So I put both. Stevens 3X long modest nightgown, liquid silky satin look, mint, and it sold for $20 on eBay. Everything that I sold except for this Athleta dress coming up has not been listed for more than a couple of months. So I'm having trouble getting rid of old inventory, and you'll see some of them coming up. I did some drastic price reductions to get rid of old inventory. My feeling about that is, let's get rid of it. Let's at least get our money back, if not a little bit more, be able to put it into better inventory. You know, I've been doing this for 5 years total, but only about 3 years really concentrating, and only about a year really concentrating on clothing. And so I made bad purchases. And so my goal with those is to not lose money. There's been a few times that I have lost money, but most of the time I can at least get my money back so I can put it into new inventory. So most of these items, my new stuff is selling because I make better choices in my purchases. So I'm learning. We're all learning together, right? Okay, this next one is an Athleta stretch sundress, cap sleeve, size medium, gray, white stripe. And that's the style number. Super cute, but just very, very basic. And that sold for $14.90, and that was on one of my sales. Summertime, summer stuff I'm trying to mark down. This was a really cool find. If you're from Minnesota, you know this Askov Finlayson designer. If you're not from Minnesota, you might not. And what was interesting is this did sell in state in my same city. I live in the Twin Cities, so Minneapolis, St. Paul. I live in Minneapolis area, and this sold to somebody in St. Paul. But this is an Ascoff and Layson collab with Frost River wax canvas bag pouch, green leather, trim, USA, new with tag. This was like a lunch bag. So, you know, like, what are my measurements here? 9 by 8, 10 by 8 lunch bag. It's that wax leather, wax canvas. And it sold in a day for $34. I paid $3 at a yard sale. So that was a great one. Anything with that designer in the Minnesota area, I'm always keeping my eye out for. This sad little Land's End red wool women's size 6 coat jacket, excellent used condition, EUC. You can tell this was one of my very old listings because of the way the title is written, not my best work. This sold, it came back for a size or a fit issue like 2 years ago, sat in my closet, just popped up in my inventory that I didn't have it listed, so I just relisted it. And so it did end up selling for cheap. What did it sell for? $20.08 after having it for a long time. It's super beautiful. It's 100% wool, but my title, my pictures weren't all that great. And so that's another little reminder to go through your inventory yearly, every 6 months, seasonally, whatever works for you, and depends upon how much inventory you have. And double check your listings, update them, update title with keywords. I mean, I am part of Resellers Edge University, and I just started really honing in on keywords. I'm still a baby in that area, but they are making a difference on my sales. And so it's really worth it to learn keywording and descriptions and some tag words, especially if you're selling on Depop. Okay, next sale is American Eagle men's shorts, next level flex, new with tags, size 30. Bought these at that yard sale that I just did a haul video a couple weeks back, so a couple weeks ago. And these sold quickly. They sold in a couple of days for $19.36. I think I sent a 15% off offer. Good sale. This is another huge mistake. Huge mistake. At least I got my money back. TK Axel jeans. I bought these on $3 day at my local thrift, probably at least 2 years ago. I would say 2 years ago. Axel, TK Axel, in my opinion, no longer sells. But these did sell, and they sold for $14.08, and it's out of my inventory, and we're moving on, and I'm probably not buying those again. I suspect with everything there are extenuating circumstances in which you would buy that brand. And so if you see them and they're really cheap, do a comp, see what they're selling for, try to decide if it's worth it. My team is heartbroken right now. We're on a losing streak, but hopefully that gets better. All right, I sold this Anne Klein off-white belted jacket, women's size 8, button front, lacy pockets. I think this was listed for probably 6 months or more, and it sold for $19.36 on a sale that I was having on eBay. So I do weekend sales, so it will just fluctuate. I'll do my whole store, I'll do just clothing, I'll do just hard goods. I might throw a like free shipping for the weekend kind of thing. I don't know that they garner a lot more sales, but it makes me feel like I'm doing something with the algorithm. So usually on the weekends, there's some kind of a small 15, 20. If I get crazy, 30. If I'm like trying to get out summer stuff, I'll do 40 on that. You know, I won't do free shipping ever on hard goods, and I've just experimented a couple times with free shipping on clothing. It just seems like the only thing that gets people going are really inexpensive stuff, and then it really eats into my profit. So not real hip on the free shipping. I like to keep that ground advantage shipping. This next one is Department 56, the Ritz Hotel Christmas in the City Series Box Light Heritage Village. Before I stopped doing hard goods, I did a buyout from someone who was just basically cleaning out a garage full of this stuff. So I have $1 into all of them, and some of them I have sold for like $70, $60, $40, $30. I'm down to my very inexpensive, more common villages, and so they're selling slowly and they're not selling for that much. This one sold for $26, and I just relisted those. So I had taken all my hard goods off when I did my big clean out of hard goods and switch over to clothing a few months ago. And now I'm just slowly getting back the hard goods that I still have, getting them back listed. So I've only had these villages listed for a couple of weeks now. Okay, this was a nice sale. This was an absolutely beautiful dress. White House Black Market, black and white paisley maxi dress, size small, new with tag. It was simply beautiful. And hopefully it looks like the picture's displayed quite well. So this one sold for $42 on eBay. That was my full asking price, and I think it was a great sale. This Tabasque handmade alpaca wool cardigan sweater, purple, we've moved to Poshmark, by the way. Purple maroon large. This was beautiful. I had not known anything about this brand, Tabasque. I don't know a whole lot more about it because there weren't a lot of things to comp with it, but it was beautiful. It was, it's got that alpaca wool blend. It had the one button and the hand knit. I mean, it's just beautiful. And this sold for $49 on Poshmark after about 2 weeks of having it listed. So that was a really good sale. This little vintage Liz Claiborne collection, 100% silk, floral blouse, size 10, watercolor print, was listed for a long time. It just didn't have much going for it, except that it was silk, but it did finally sell for $21 on Poshmark, which I thought was great. I had marked it up a little bit because it had that vintage style. It was silk, and I just kind of kept marking it down. This is one of my big sales on Poshmark. Oh, I'm sorry. Just go back. Those last two were still eBay, so they were not Poshmark. Now we've moved on to Poshmark, and this was just, this is part of my summer clearance on Poshmark, just trying to get rid of things. And so this little Love Culture sheer blouse, black, white hearts button, front, long sleeve, elastic waist, large, sold for $8 on Poshmark. And I paid $1, so I still made something, but this was just clearing things out that when on Poshmark you can see likes and you can see if they're kind of popular items that they have a potential of selling, and this had 0 of any of that. And so when that's the case, I'm going to keep bringing it down until it sells. Get that money back. All right, this is part of a 2-piece bundle. So this vintage black patent leather clutch made in England for Dayton's. Dayton's was a huge department store here in Minneapolis. I don't know if it is anywhere else in the world, but that sold for $17, and this New York & Co. women's elastic stretch wide waist belt with gold buckle sold for $12 in a bundle. And so I've had these for quite a while. That little belt, this one I paid $1 for, and this clutch came in an estate lot of a bunch of old purses. Most of them I have already sold because I haven't really been to many estate sales lately. This was kind of the last of the group that was left. So I figured $2 into each of those. So $2 into that and $1 into this little belt sold on a bundle. There's some neat things about having accessories on Poshmark that are inexpensive, because oftentimes people want to max out their shipping. They get up to £5. And so on Poshmark, especially if you're sourcing on Poshmark, you'll want to max out your 5 pounds. But you know, having inexpensive accessories that people can add to their box or add to their purchase makes sense on Poshmark. So it isn't necessarily about the bottom line dollar that you're making on that item. It's about having those extras that are going to get bought on top of what you already have. This was so cool. This I got at an estate sale for $5. Mink and leather jacket, vintage mob white goth, amazing. I don't usually put adjectives on my descriptors like that, but this was truly amazing. It's just an absolutely beautiful jacket, and I'm so glad someone finally bought it. I've had it listed for over a year, had it listed too high. I think I started at 85 and I just started bringing it down, and when I got to that 60 range, I started seeing a lot more activity on it, and then someone sent me an offer of 52, which I gladly accepted. And it is just a beautiful piece, and I'm so glad someone found it and it's not sitting in my closet for another winter. I talked to you before, I think on a haul video, about Knox Rose and how I sell Knox Rose. Like, I find these in the bins. That's where I find all my Knox Rose stuff almost always, or sometimes at Dollar Day at the thrift store, which by the way is today at 11. And I have $1 into them, and I sell them between 15 and 25, like on the regular. So this was listed for maybe 4 or 5 months. It sold for 15 on Poshmark. That was an offer I accepted. I think I had it listed at 22, sold for 15. Just some great bread and butter. These were mine, and I wore them a lot, and so I had them listed too high. And I say that a lot, and hopefully you guys understand. It's always a learning process, right? You want to maximize your dollar and what the value is of your item. You don't want to undercut the market so much that you're kind of affecting things and losing money. So sometimes it's testing the waters. So with these, I think I had them listed at like 34 or something like that. I had them down to 22 and got an offer of 15 and happily accepted. They were part of a bundle with this little Torrid size 1X women's sheer new with tag blouse, animal print sleeveless tie front. Another dollar thrift shop buy. So again, somebody bundled some shoes, grabbed a inexpensive shirt, put it in the bundle. I love having those lower priced items on there, and this was on my summer clear out. So yeah. Okay, this little Valentina Naldi lightweight lace tan open front cover top, one size, boho login look. It you know, when it says made in Italy, I'm a sucker for things, and so this one just wasn't what I thought it was going to be, and so I had marked it down to 18 and it sold for 14, and I was happy to accept that offer. Here's a little vintage Bobby Brooks women's large Christmas Santa tapestry vest, adjustable Santa bells. These sell, you guys. These little vintage vests right now, if you have Halloween vintage t-shirts, sweatshirts, vests, they should be listed because they're selling like crazy. Last year they all sold. This year I haven't found any, and I haven't done a whole lot of bins shopping this year due to some surgeries that I had, and the bins is just hard work. So I haven't been able to find these, but these little guys, this I found for 50 cents at a yard sale, and it sold for 18. I listed it, you know, mid-spring this year. It's a Christmas vest, so I didn't expect it to sell until now. I didn't have any likes on it, but I knew that if I waited till the right season, that it would probably still sell for my full asking price, which it did. So seasonal stuff, you know, hang in there, give it a little longer, let it get into the season where it should sell and kind of see what it does. Don't be so afraid that it's not going to sell and you mark it down too soon. These are well-worn women's cargo pants, and I actually got these for free. I would not have purchased them. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they were gifted to me to see if I might want to wear them. And they're too big for me, and so I lotted them up and sold them for $22. So I had nothing into them. I am not really familiar with this brand. It wouldn't have been something I would have bought to sell, but they sold. So, you know, worth considering. This was absolutely beautiful, and I have to tell you, if you are not following any of the trends that are coming out this year, some of the other resellers that I watch, Jack and Ryan and Julia from JM Squared Vintage, have clearly made it known that these bubble hem dresses and bubble hem skirts are on the full comeback, and I would say that's the case with this. I got this 2 weeks ago at the dollar sale for $1 and listed it 2 weeks ago, and 4 or 5 days ago it sold for $30. I think I had it listed for $36. I got an offer of $30 that I could not say no to when I had $1 into it. But these are beautiful, and you add ombre with it, and you add that bubble hem, and you have a gem. And this is, you know, fast fashion. This is jump apparel. This is no brand to be like, oh my gosh, I have to keep an eye out for. So I expected it to sell on Depop. It sold on Poshmark. This Land's End women's soft cotton knit robe, mid-calf, excellent use condition, size 11, striped belt. I can tell you that when the robes that you are trying to resell have belts, they sell much better. So this one, I think I had it listed for $25. I got an offer for $20. I was happy to accept. I paid $3 at my thrift store on $3 day. So $3 to $20 I'm fine with. This beautiful little vintage Fair Isle wool cardigan, brown, pink, green, 90s grandpa sweater. These are hot. They've been hot. They're going to stay hot. This one I found on Facebook Marketplace, someone selling 8 sweaters that they were moving to Florida, and they're all vintage. And I ended up paying $6 a piece for them. And this is the first of them to sell. I only have a few of them listed so far. But this one sold for $34. I had it listed for $38. I took an offer for $34. Was happy to accept. Watch for these Fair Isle wool cardigan button front. Button front seems to be really important right now. This grandma core, grandma core, really. And then this one, you know, it had all the fall colors too. So. And our last one from Poshmark was another let's get rid of things. All my swimsuits got marked way down because I don't have a ton. I maybe have 6 or 8, but I wanted to get rid of them. This was only a swim top. So Kakik, that is Lane Bryant's brand for swimwear and like bras and underwear. Bikini top, plus size, 46DD, plunge, embroidered tassels, boho, festival. And so this sold for $7, and it's out of my inventory, and I can spend that profit on something else. So that is what sold from Monday through Sunday of last week, September. Today is the 23rd when I'm recording, so last week. Hopefully that gave you a little glimpse into some things that you could sell or find or profit on for your business. I hope this finds you well. If you enjoyed this content, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, and click the notification bell so that if I produce another video, which I hope to do shortly, you'll be notified. I so appreciate your time and having this playing while you're listing, hopefully, or getting some information. If you like it, please let me know. I'd love to keep doing this. Thank you so much. Have a great day.